Welcome, my dear students, to the part 1 from the chapter Mechanical Properties of Fluids. In this session, let us discuss about pressure, Pascal's law, and variation of pressure with depth. We know fluids are substances which can flow. For example, liquids and gases are together called as fluids, and it doesn't possess any definite shape. When an object is submerged in a liquid at rest, the fluid exerts a force on its surface normally, and this normal force is called thrust. We have also studied that the thrust experienced per unit area on the surface of a liquid at rest can be called as the pressure. When a liquid is in equilibrium, the force acting on its surface is perpendicular everywhere. That is, the pressure is the same at the same horizontal level. The pressure at any point in the liquid depends upon the depth h below the surface, density of the liquid, and acceleration due to gravity. We know that the equation for pressure P is equivalent to F by A, where F represents the force or the thrust exerted and A represents the area of cross section. The unit of pressure in SI system is Newton per meter square or Pascal. Pascal is represented by the symbol capital P and small a. 1 Pascal is equivalent to 1 Newton per meter square. In this figure, we can see that in a small volume taken inside the liquid, the pressure exerted on all of its surfaces will be equal and normal to the surface. In figure B, we can see a device for measuring pressure. When this device is immersed in a fluid, force will be exerted normally to the surface as shown in the figure. The surface is of area of cross section capital A. Then, according to the force exerted, the force per unit area will give you the pressure. This is a cross-sectional area within a given liquid. If you are taking the surfaces FA, FB and FC, where FA and FB and FC represents the force acting on the surfaces, normal to it, we can see that the force will be same on all the surfaces. That is, this is a realization of Pascal's law. According to Pascal's law, the pressure applied to an enclosed liquid is transmitted undiminished to every portion of the liquid and to the walls of the containing vessel. And hydraulic system works on Pascal's law. Force exerted per unit area will be the same at all the cross sections. That is, F1 by A1 will be equivalent to F2 by A2 will be equivalent to F3 by A3. In this picture, you can see a beaker filled with a fluid, and we are imagining a cross-sectional area of a cylinder, that is a water column having a weight mg acting downwards, which is of height h, and the two circular surfaces are marked as 1 and 2. A column of height h of a liquid of density rho exerts a pressure P given by P is equivalent to h rho g, where g is the acceleration due to gravity. If PA is the atmospheric pressure, then the pressure in a liquid at a depth h from its free surface is given by P is equivalent to PA plus H rho G. This relation is true for incompressible fluids only. Now coming to gauge pressure. Gauge pressure can be called as the difference between the absolute pressure P and the atmospheric pressure PA. That is, in the above equation, P minus PA, which is equivalent to H rho G, represents the gauge pressure, or absolute pressure is equivalent to gauge pressure plus atmospheric pressure. In this figure, you can see three different vessels of different shapes which are connected together at the bottom. If you are pouring water in any one of the vessels, we can see that the level of water rises in all the vessels up to the same level. This is an example of hydrostatic paradox. According to this principle, the pressure at a certain horizontal level in the fluid is proportional to the vertical distance to the surface of the fluid. Now let us once again have a discussion about gauge pressure. We have already seen that gauge pressure is given from the relation P is equivalent to PA plus H rho G, where P is the pressure at any point and PA is the atmospheric pressure, and P minus PA is equivalent to rho GH is called the gauge pressure. Now let us see how to measure this gauge pressure by using a manometer, which is an instrument used for measuring pressure. So open tube manometer is a U-shaped tube which is partially filled with mercury. One end is open and the other end is connected to some device where the pressure is to be determined. This means it is like a system. So in this figure, you can see a U-shaped manometer in which a liquid is being filled and one end is open to the atmosphere where the pressure is marked as PA, and the other end is connected to the device whose pressure we are intending to measure. That is represented by P. Now, soon after connecting this system, the level of the liquid taken in the tube or mercury will show itself in two different levels. That is, the height to which the mercury column will rise depend on the atmospheric pressure. Similarly, depending on the pressure of the system, the height of mercury in the other tube rises. The pressure difference between these two heights is the difference between atmospheric pressure and the system. This difference, that is P minus PA, can be called as the gauge pressure. So, in this tube, P minus PA can be equivalent to H rho G, where H is the difference between mercury in the two limbs of the tube, rho is the density of liquid taken in the tube, and G is the acceleration due to gravity. Hope you might have got an idea about pressure, atmospheric pressure, gauge pressure, and measurement of gauge pressure. Thank you, dear students.